Hello, I'm Kristine Stratton, President and CEO of NRPA. I want to start by acknowledging some feedback I received after last month's video. I heard appreciation from some of you for naming systemic racism and calling for us all to reflect and do more in our field of parks and recreation. And I heard from some who said naming this without also offering resources or examples was not very helpful. I talked about why parks and recreation are part of the solution, but didn't include enough of the how. I want to say, I hear you. We must be solutions oriented if we're going to be part of dismantling systemic racism within our communities. And while it's vital that we name it and call it out wherever we see it, as your national association, we must also bring forth solutions and resources to help enact that change. So I'm going to share with you some of the solutions I've heard from professionals throughout the field. And I want to also share some new equity resources from NRPA. I'll start with Josh Green, General Manager with the Cosumnes Community Services District in California, who has led his agency in the development of an equity roadmap, which includes a lot of learning, networking, surveys, detailed goals, and plans. Josh gave a great presentation for the California Park and Recreation Society with Parks and Recreation Director Mike Dobson on their process. I've included a link to it below. Under Catherine Ott Lovell's leadership, Philadelphia Parks and Recreation's Playstreets program is a great example of equitable programming. During the summer, Playstreets creates safe play spaces for children in every neighborhood by closing more than 300 designated streets to traffic from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and providing free play equipment and supplies. Parks and Rec's summer food service program also provides daily lunches or snacks. Finally, I want to acknowledge Mitchell Silver, who is stepping down as New York City's Park Commissioner after 7 years of highly impactful work dedicated to making the New York City park system more equitable and inclusive. He launched data-driven programs like the city's first major park equity initiative, which invested heavily in densely populated neighborhoods with higher than average concentrations of poverty. He also helped launch Parks Without Borders, a new design approach to lower or remove fences and create a more seamless realm between parks and neighborhoods. After the program was announced in 2015, over 100 projects received immediate design improvements. And now all projects are approached from this design philosophy. Thank you, Mitchell, for your service to New York City parks and the field at large. You are leaving behind a commitment to equity that we can all learn from. Finally, as I teased in my last video, NRPA has released a suite of resources to help. Like Josh in Cosumnes, we created an equity statement and are excited to have this as our North Star. We also released a story map called Equity in Parks and Recreation, a Historical Perspective. This story map is a timeline of the systems and stories that have led to our present day, where we know some benefit from our services and some do not. A clear example of this is the practice of redlining that resulted in significant investment in parks and recreation in predominantly white communities and disinvestment in communities of color. Redlining is one of the reasons why race is a predictor of access to parks. Knowledge of our history helps us to address barriers through things like equity-based capital budgets. As park and recreation professionals, our vision for the future is centered around serving all people enjoying the health and wellness benefits of parks and recreation. The last piece in this set of resources is NRPA's own Equity Action Plan, which lays out the steps we are taking to achieve racial justice in parks and recreation access and supporting park systems that serve all. All of these resources and more can be found at nrpa.org/equity. Thank you for all your feedback on my last video update. I encourage you to keep it coming. The work you are doing in this space matters, from planning to programming, creating spaces, and maintaining them. Together, we can do so much for our communities and the future of parks and recreation. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and be well.